Alright guys, this is the first video in a two-part series on Amazon FBA product research. Now I wanted to break it into two videos because most people get hung up on actually finding the product on Amazon itself. And whereas my belief is that most people get stuck at that stage is because the criteria that they are looking for doesn't exist. So I wanted to do this initial presentation to show you what I think of the criteria and how I believe compares to the common teachings that are on YouTube at the moment. So let's jump straight into the video and I'll go through it criteria by criteria and see what you think. So firstly, the perfect product. Let's just get this out of the way now. The perfect product does not exist. There is no such thing as the perfect product on Amazon. It is finding a product that works for you and the criteria works within the budgets and the expectations that you're going to set for your business. So like I said just on the intro there, is forget what the gurus have said. You know, there's a lot of people on YouTube saying the same thing. You want a product that's got 300 units sold per month, no more than X amount of reviews from the competition, must be a minimum price and must weigh below a certain threshold. And then they work within this rigid constraints, and actually what ends up happening is you miss out on lots of opportunities for really good products just because they don't tick all of the boxes. So we need to approach this with flexibility and thinking about what's going to work for you. So the criteria has to be based on your Amazon goals and the individual goals you have for your products. So think about how much money you want to make on Amazon. You know, just setting the goal, I want to make as much as possible. That's great, but it's not overly helpful in this process. So when I sat down a few months ago and worked out what I wanted to achieve, I wanted to make approximately £7,500 per month. That was my aim. You know, for various reasons, that was my initial aim. Of course, I want to make more than that in the long run, but that was my initial aim. So have a think about how much you want to make. If you want to make £5,000 or £10,000, or even some people just want to make £2,000 so they can, you know, give up their job and then focus on growing it after that. So think about how much money you want to make, then think how you can achieve that. If you want to achieve that through 2 or 3 products, in which case you're going to be searching for a lot longer because each product is going to have to provide a lot more revenue, or whether you're happy to have that income come from kind of 5 or 10 products, so in which case each product doesn't have to generate as much revenue stream. So establish your goals first for Amazon overall and your individual product goals, and then that will shape your criteria. So your criteria will not be the same as mine, and it won't be the same as anyone else's. It will be just down to what you're trying to achieve. And then the products that you're looking for will then be different to everyone else as well, because you won't be pumping in the same figures to, you know, to Jungle Scout or Helium 10 or whatever you want to use. It comes down to what product works for you. So just to go back, this is what my goal was. You know, it's slightly different now, obviously, from the results I've had from my first product. My goals in the early day was I wanted to generate £25 profit per day per product. And then the view was to launch 10 products over the next 12 months with the goal to achieving £7,500 profit per month. Now that £25 profit per day could be achieved by selling, for me, one product, selling 5 units. But you might achieve that by having one product that sells 2 units at £12.50 profit margin. So it's all about balancing profit margin versus units sold versus your goals for the product. Now the criteria, I'm just going to quickly whiz through here because we're going to go through each one in more detail that I'm going to cover in this video, is to demand and sales and what to look for, pricing and profit margins, the reviews, of course, which is very important, or you've been told are very important, but actually my early understanding from what I've been doing is that reviews aren't as important as I believed, and I excluded so many products because of reviews. But I'll get to that in a minute. Weight and dimensions, seasonality, opportunity to differentiate, because that's very important at this stage. And then finally, can you actually launch that product, which is quite interesting to consider. You might find the best product in the world, but you might not be able to launch that product. So we'll get to that last. So let's get straight on with the key thing. And this is for me, this is the most important thing on Amazon, is the demand or sales of that product. All the other criteria is important, but unless that product is selling, then nothing else matters. So ensure that the product, this is the key thing. You just want to be launching a product that's actually got sales, you know, and these sales need to run deep. What you want, well, by depth, I mean I want to be able to sell as long as I get towards the top of page 2 and into the bottom of page 1. If that is good enough for that product to succeed, then that's the sort of sales depth that I'm talking about and would be a product that would appeal to me. So the guru criteria for products, and you hear this all the time, is usually this product needs to sell 300 units per month and everyone on the front page must be selling at least 300 units. Now, that might be fine on .com, but on .co.uk, those sort of products are very, very rare. Like, I've been looking for months, and honestly, I've probably come across a handful of products like that. So there's very, very few of them about. So don't expect to see that on Amazon.co.uk. What I tend to find is the top 5 to 10, you might see around that figure, but then kind of 10 to 20 will tend to drop down to kind of maybe around the 100 mark. So if you can look towards that sort of criteria, obviously depending on how many you want to sell. Just don't expect it to be as high for .co.uk as you've seen on some of the YouTube channels over the past few months. So what are your goals for the product? So like I said, for mine was to sell 5 a day, which means I need to sell 150 per month. So I'm looking on Amazon for products that are selling between 150 to 200 units per month, and that would do for me. Someone else might be wanting to sell 500 per month, in which case that's their criteria for the product. So going back to what are your goals in terms of profit margin, if you wanted to make £1,000 from that product, there's many ways of doing that. You know, if you've got a product that generates £10 of profit, you could do that by selling only 100 units a month, in which case you only need to sell, say, 3 or 4. But you know, on the flip side, you could sell 400 a month at £2.50 per unit, you know, profit per unit, and that would generate the same profit. So the actual quantity of sales is less important when you compare it to actually the profit margin and what you want to make on those sales. Like I said earlier, ensure the demand is spread across the first page. You want those sales to run deep, so as soon as you get anywhere near those top 20-30 results, you start getting organic sales. Check demand onto page 2 as well, like I was just saying, and check demand for variations of the main keyword. Now, a lot of people teach, find your main keyword, search that, and ensure there's demand there. Now, what you'll find is there'll be a number of keywords that drive traffic to your product, and there'll be 3 or 4 of them at least that drive a large amount of traffic. So what you want to do is ensure that the sales are high across all of those keywords, so that if you're unable to rank for 1 or 2 of them, but you can still get ranked for a couple of the others where there's good sales, then you've got a much better chance of succeeding. If your only chance of success is ranking for the keyword and you don't, then you're going to fail. But if you might not rank for the keyword, but there's 2 or 3 other keywords that you could succeed for, then it's a much better, a much safer product to get involved with. So the next thing, pricing and profit margins. And what do the gurus say? They say £15 to £30 or the equivalent dollars, whatever they've been using, and at least a 50% profit margin. Now, just going straight onto the 50% profit margin, that is very unlikely. Now, when people you'll see this all the time. They'll show you that they'll do a product research on YouTube. They'll say, look at this product. It's selling for £30. They go onto Alibaba. Oh, it's selling for £15. Oh, that's a 50% profit margin. It's not. You've got all of the associated costs with that. So the profit margin at 50% is unrealistic. And the price bracket from £15 to £30. Now, I don't so much have an issue with the lower price bracket at £15. I looked at products below that price and I really struggled to make the sort of profit that I wanted to make. It's not to say that the profit can't be made, but for example, on a £10 product, you might have made £2 to £3 per unit, which isn't bad. But I wanted to do a bit more because I wanted more profit margin to be able to use for PPC. So if I've got £7 or £8 per unit, then I've got more to spend on PPC. So that's why the higher threshold, I don't believe there is a higher threshold. That all comes down to what you want to achieve. So if you're selling a product at £100 and somehow you're making £40 profit, and you only want to make £25 a day, I mean, you've only got to sell one product like every 2 days to near enough hit your figures. So that upper threshold is completely optional and works within kind of what budget you've got available and what your goals are for the product. So that's what there, lower threshold, I would start from £15 upwards. Maybe £12, £13 if you really wanted to. Anything lower than that, I think you're really going to struggle to hit the figures you want to do, and no upper threshold than that. So there we go. Just kind of reiterating what I was saying and different ways of making that. A £50 product selling 5 a day might make more profit than a £25 product selling 10 a day. So ignore the upper threshold and adjust that to your budget and capital that you've got. Also, don't be afraid of selling at a higher price point than existing sellers. So the product that I'm doing okay with, I believe, my first product, when I was doing the research initially, most of the people are selling probably around £20 to £25. Now at the moment I'm more towards the £30 mark, so I'm pretty much the second most expensive product in the top 20 to 25 results. But the reason being is my product offers more value, offers more features, so people can see that. People don't necessarily want the cheapest, they want the product with the most value. So if you can offer extra features that are genuinely useful without increasing the price too much, then people are going to buy your product over the cheaper alternatives. In terms of getting your Alibaba, if you're trying to do quick calculations, I would be very careful if you're quickly trying to look at Alibaba to see if a product is viable. I'd always contact them, because the prices you get back are usually always different to what they've got listed on the website. Get quotes from at least 3 different suppliers and make sure they're matched like to like, because some guys like to cut corners and they won't tell you unless you really kind of ask them for the details. And then you can use that to calculate and estimate your profits. So like I was saying at the start of this slide, 50% profit margin is unrealistic due to kind of all the other fees like shipping, customs, VAT, FBA, all of that together. Personally, I think anything around the 30% is a good aim, but again, adjust this for your own individual needs and goals. Okay, so on to reviews and competition, and this is probably going to be the most controversial slide in this video, because I believe the complete opposite of what is currently being taught, that reviews aren't actually that important. You know, everyone's going to tell you, and if you watch all of the criteria videos, they'll say stay away from products where multiple sellers have got 3-figure reviews. You know, I watched a video this afternoon, and no lie, the guy said, unless 7 of the top 10 sellers have 100 or less reviews, don't get involved in the product. And this is on .com, by the way. Now, for me, that is a load of garbage. I'll show you my experience of my product in a second, but there is no reason why you can't rank above someone who's got 100, 200, 300 reviews if your product is better and you're offering more value from your product. So let's go through why you shouldn't be put off based on my experience. Obviously, my experience is based off one reasonably successful product, but don't be put off by 3-figure review counts across the front page. So my product, if you remember, if you go back to some of my older videos, my product sold when it had 0 reviews, absolutely 0 reviews, and it was selling. Okay, my conversion rate wasn't amazing, but I was still selling at about break-even point. So that wasn't bad as a launch during the launch period. And then for the last month, so this wasn't just a fluke for 1 or 2 weeks. For at least the last month, I've been ranked above 2 other products, one that's got 600 reviews and one that's got 800 reviews. Now, and I'm only at that time, I'm into double figures now, but at that time, I had 1-figure reviews, and I was ranked above 600 and 800 products with 600 and 800 reviews. Now, before I launched this product, if someone had said that to me, I would have said, no, not from, everyone's telling me, you know, we're being taught the complete opposite of this. There's no way you're going to outrank people unless you've got, you know, reviews, a good number of reviews. So I'm hoping this isn't just a one-off for this product, but as I launch more products, I'll be able to clarify that point. But I just want people to keep that in mind. Don't be put off just because there's competitors with lots of reviews, because if you're offering a better product, offering more value, then there's no reason why with a decent launch you can't rank above these people. Yeah, so just to back up this point, Amazon care about one thing, and that's making money. And the way they make money is through you selling. So if you're selling more than someone else, then they're going to want you to be ranked above them. I know reviews help with sales, but if someone's got 500 reviews on an average product, and you've got 2 or 3 reviews, but your product's offering much better value, it's got a lot better features, looks better, photography's better, people are still going to buy your product. It's not all about that review count, it's about the overall offering that you've got in front of that person. Amazon care about sales, they also care about reviews, but sales will always trump reviews, and that's what you want to focus on. Just finally, with just a quick nod towards competition, ensure the rest of the products on that page, it's not a brand dominated page, you know, or it's not a load of Amazon products, because Amazon will put their product above most other products. I've watched them today. For example, I went onto yoga mats today, put yoga mats in, well, not for myself, I was just doing research, and Amazon have just launched an Amazon Basics mat, and they would rank number 1 with 1 review, because it's Amazon. So make sure you haven't got lots of products being sold by Amazon, or the page isn't dominated by a big brand that you're going to struggle to get into. Alright, okay, on to weights and dimensions. Now, the Guru criteria is a very light product and what Amazon class as standard size. Now, small and light products are preferable. They're cheaper to ship in, less capital because you've got less money tied up in shipping fees, cheaper storage fees. Amazon charge monthly storage fees. No one ever mentions that, but Amazon do charge monthly storage fees on top of their 6 months long-term storage fees. So small and light products are preferable. My first product isn't really small or light. I mean, it's like about 1.5 kilos. And it's quite big as well, so it's not exactly small or light. What I have found though is I'm just about to launch more. I'm not just about to launch my second product. I've ordered my second product and I've been putting it into Amazon. The weight is less of an issue than the dimensions. Amazon don't hit you so hard for your products being, you know, a bit heavier, but if your dimensions fall outside of standard size, cost nearly double. So let me show you. Let me bring up. I did have the tab open. Where are we? So let's take a look. So the standard parcel, this is what my first product is, a standard parcel. and I think it weighed, like I say, between just under 1.5 kilos. So if we click on there, ignore the referral fee, because the referral fee from Amazon is 15% of the product, so that's regardless of weight or size. The referral fee is 15%. So this one's the actual FBA, this is the fulfillment fee. So if we got a standard parcel size and it say it's 1.5 kilo, Amazon will charge you £2.53 plus the hidden VAT they don't show you, so roughly that's going to be about £3 they're going to charge you. Now take this into consideration. If I keep that product, if I just up that a little bit, so say it's 2 kilos, that jumped up quite a bit, but I mean you've nearly doubled your product weight. Let's try some of the smaller brackets so I can make the point a bit clearer. So the difference between, say, something that weighs 0.9 kilograms and 1.4 kilograms to something that weighs 1.4 kilograms to 1.9 kilograms is 22p. So if your product weighed 902 grams, it might cost you £2.31, or if it weighed 1.9 kilograms, it would cost you £2.53. So you see it's a tiny jump, but if you look at oversized products, so we go to the oversized tab here, you see the next dimensions up, even on a light product, this has jumped massively to £3.66. So the equivalent product that, if it weighed 1.5 kilos or 1.6 kilos, all of a sudden you're paying £4.54. Now I've just hit this issue with my second product. It's lighter than my first product, but because I want it folded in a certain way so that when it gets to the customers it isn't bent, my product is 48 centimetres by 48. So I'm falling into this small oversized category. So what I budgeted for my fulfillment fee is actually about half what it should be. So I'm desperately speaking to my supplier at the moment to see if there's anything else we can do to try and reduce the size, whether they can squash it up a bit without bending it. So just keep that in mind, that weight isn't as important as dimension. It's dimensions that will send your FBA fees sky high. So plan for that, and don't leave it till the last minute like I did with this product. Right, so back to the PowerPoint. Also, regards to weight and dimensions, remember everyone else selling on Amazon is going to have the same issue. So just because a product's heavy and large, all the other FBA sellers are going to be hit with the same sort of fee. So you're not going to be at a disadvantage just because you're selling a heavier product. All it means is you're going to spend more on shipping, more on fees, and have more capital tied up, which is fine if you've got that capital to work with. One thing you notice as well, if products are really big, a lot of them will be FBM sellers because their fulfillment fees will be cheaper if they're fulfilling it themselves. Rather than Amazon. It doesn't mean there's not an opportunity there, because some people are really, a lot of people want products next day. So some people might pay extra for your product just because you might be one of a few sellers actually selling through FBA rather than fulfilled by merchant. So like I was just saying, always check your fees. You can do that by going to the FBA calculator, so just chuck that in Google and you'll find that. Take an ASIN from a very similar competitor product, pop that in, it'll give you an idea of fees, or go to that website that I was just on, and then you can look up manually what bracket your product will fall under. So the next thing, seasonality, and the gurus will tell you don't sell seasonal products, which I can agree with in some instances, but let's go through what I've got here. So my first thing is don't rule out seasonal products. There can be opportunities there. One thing I would say, and actually someone contacted me about a seasonal product they were having a few issues with, is if you are going to sell a seasonal product, also check what the demand is like out of season, so that if you don't sell out during that season, you can continue to sell out of season and get rid of that stock without incurring long-term storage fees at Amazon. So always check the out of season sales for seasonal products. Also prepare in advance. Like my first product was going to be a seasonal product, which I was trying to launch last year, but when I worked it out, it wasn't going to be arrived until September. It was going to be a summer product, so arriving in September in the UK is pretty much pointless. So what I'm actually going to do, that's going to be my third product, and I'm going to start looking to order that around about the January time, with the view to launching it March/April, and then I'll have the full 6 months of reasonable weather in the UK to take advantage of that product. So just make sure you plan for the season. There's no point trying to launch a Christmas product in November. You've got to plan months in advance, because things take so much time with manufacturing, shipping, processing at Amazon and stuff like that. Obviously longer seasons are preferable. I'd much rather sell a summer product than trying to sell a Christmas product, or an Easter product, or a Halloween product. I mean, it's such a short window. You've got to be very, very good and experienced, I believe, to succeed on those shorter seasons. Like I say, avoid short seasons and one-off events, of course, unless your name is Brock Johnson, who, as I'm sure you've seen, made about $6 million selling solar eclipse glasses. So yeah, I'm not saying to rule it out completely, but I would say for your first few products at least, Try to avoid seasonal as much as possible, but don't rule them out, because there's still huge opportunities to be made with certain products. Opportunity to differentiate. So this is very important. So once you've found a product that ticks lots of the boxes, it's profitable, it's good sales, it's got the correct weights, dimensions, it's not seasonal, stuff like that. How are you going to differentiate between? How is your product going to be better? That's the key thing. Why would someone buy your product over someone else? Now, the gurus at the moment, and this is one of the courses I bought, said the only way you can succeed in 2018 is to bundle your product. Now, I'm not knocking bundling. I think it's a great opportunity to make your product different, and I do believe it can offer real value, but it's not the only way. The bundle's got to offer real value. Now, I've been selling my product, and there's been a common, you see it below, frequently bought with. There's been another product that appears underneath my product that's frequently bought with my product. Now, I could offer a bundle, but the demand for that second product is about 10% of what my main product is. So if I bundle them two together, I'm restricting my sales to 10% of what I am at the moment. So if you're going to bundle, make sure you're not going to restrict yourself in any way. Also, people say to bundle because it's harder for your competition to copy. It's not really. I mean, you contact 2 suppliers, it's 2 emails. It's not difficult to copy a bundle. So don't think of that bundling is going to protect you from people copying. Now, I'm also going to knock bundles a bit more here. So if anyone's doing bundles, this isn't anything personal, just my take on bundles at the moment. Bundles also means dealing with 2 suppliers, 2 lots of transaction fees, shipping from supplier to supplier, and obviously questionable trade assurance protection. If something goes wrong with product 1 that you've shipped to supplier 2, supplier 1 might put the finger at supplier 2. So how's trade assurance going to pay out when they're going to say, well, we shipped the product there, but then they shipped it there? Who's at fault? There's going to be a lot of finger pointing going on. So that is why bundles don't massively appeal to me, but I do believe they can offer a great opportunity done well, and if you find good suppliers, and they can certainly work, and I certainly wouldn't say to anyone don't bundle. It's just for me, I prefer not to go down that route. For me, I look at how the product can be improved. I look at the whole front page, I read all of the reviews, and I look for all the pain points. We solve all of them. You've probably heard that so many times. Find all the pain points. What are people moaning about? Solve all of those, right? That's the first thing. Solve all of the issues that could give you negative reviews. Get rid of those. Then the next thing is, how else can we improve this product to give ourselves some unique selling points over our competition? Then if you combine those 2 together, solving all the issues, and then you've got additional new features, then you come to market. 1, you're going to stand out. Secondly, you can ask for a higher price point. Thirdly, it doesn't matter what reviews your competitors have got, because you're selling a better product. So that's where I see the value is there, is making your product stand out through features and offering the best value possible, on not being the cheapest, but offering the most value. And finally, don't ever compete just on price. If you're starting a product to compete on price, it is a matter of time before that product stops becoming viable, because there'll always be someone out there with more money than you who can sell it at a cheaper price. So don't ever compete on price. You want to be in a position where if someone's dropping their price, you don't care, because you've got the best product. And finally, you found that you think you've got a fantastic product. You have to be honest with yourself. Can you launch this product? Now, in the early days of this channel, someone emailed me, and the screenshot of the figures they sent me on Jungle Scout were amazing. I've never seen a product that good on Jungle Scout. But the quantity the product was selling per day was crazy. You would have to be selling a lot per day. And the question I had for the guys, have you got the capital to actually sell this product? I know if I tried to launch a product now that was selling 50 a day, unless it was a very cheap product, I don't have the capital to launch that product, because 1, you've got to have enough product to do the launch period. Enough products to do that initial launch period, and then also stay in stock. Now, I planned to stay in stock for 2 months, and I thought I'd bought enough for 2 months, but I've gone out of stock. Well, I'm approaching going out of stock this week, and I think I'm going to be out of stock for a few days. It all depends how quick my next shipment comes. But you want to plan to have at least 2 months worth of stock, because you won't want to reorder until you started selling, and that takes at least 2 or 3 weeks before you get a feel for how many you're going to sell. Only at that point will you feel comfortable reordering, which then only lives 5 or 6 weeks to get your next order in. So think about realistically, can you afford that many units? And can you afford to launch? So if you need to sell 20 a day for at least, well, if you're going to be selling the 20 a day, you've got to do it for the launch period, then you've got to continue to do it. How many can you afford? So if you need to sell 20 a day to launch your product, so say it takes 2 weeks to launch a product, you need to sell 20 a day. That's 280 products done in those first 2 weeks. Now, if you're buying 300 units, you're out of stock after 2 weeks pretty much. So you need to either buy 500, which will maybe give you 4 weeks stock, or 1,000, this is going to give you 8 weeks stock. Can you afford that? So keep that in mind, whether you can actually get this product off the ground. And then when you know how many you've got to sell, think about how you're actually going to achieve that figure. So with my product, I only needed to sell about 10 a day to get ranked on the first page. Whereas if you've got a product selling 30, 40, 50 a day, now I was able to launch my product using PPC only. With the higher quantity products, you might need to use multiple strategies. So can you afford to do PPC? Can you afford to do giveaways? Can you afford to do promo codes? Because you might need to do all 3 launch strategies at the same time to hit that sales velocity to get you onto the front page. Obviously, can you afford to do this? I've said that enough times now for this slide. Plan for 6 to 8 weeks of stock. Obviously, it might be shorter than that. If you've got a supplier who can air freight a really light item to you in a couple of weeks, then you might not be as bad. But if you're, especially if you're sea shipping, you probably have to allocate longer than 8 weeks. You might need 10 or 12 weeks of stock to launch with. And remember, the best selling product may not be the right option for you at this stage. Pick a product that fits within your criteria, fits within your budgets, and fits within your launch capacity for a product. And finally, just a few notes. Once you have found a product and you think it's going to be a great product, don't forget to check for trademarks, patents, hazmat, whether it's a restricted product and whether it falls within a gated categories. So that's it for this video. I know there's a lot to take in, but hopefully that first slide, you've got the 7 steps. Just look at those for a quick reference point. Any questions, you can drop me an email on darrenlynchfba@gmail.com, and I'll try and get the video out next week showing how I actually find these products on Amazon. If you haven't liked already, please like the video, and if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell as well, because I'm going to be doing a giveaway video. So we've hit the 200 subs now, so I'm going to be doing a giveaway video in the next few days.